Hi there Kit fans, it's Louise with you today. Welcome along to my first video share for the month of December. How gorgeous is the rainbow kit this month? I just adore these papers. So to start with, I am going to, as per normal, let the elements speak to me. And I really liked this patterned paper that had the matching florals either side, but I didn't want them either side. I sort of struggled to make a central cluster on my layout, so I decided to fussy cut them and join them together in the center of my layout. And I often don't measure where I'm putting things on a page, but in this case I decided I was going to make sure that my cluster was central. And I really wanted to ensure that it was directly matching either side so that it was nice and equal. Now, the backs of the gorgeous patterned paper this month have these fabulous matching colours. Well, all except a couple of matching colours. They don't all match completely. And what I decided to do was to make some banners to actually pop out in the same colour palette behind that sort of central area that I've got going on there. So I'm just going to cut some strips of paper, but the colours weren't completely right. And as you can see, I didn't like the green or the sort of the reddy colour. The pattern paper is more of a pink, and that just wasn't going to work for me. So I had to get a little bit creative here. Now you can see that creating a banner is quite simple. I like to just fold my pattern papers in half and trim towards the inner portion. They don't have to be perfect for me. I just like them to sort of have that bit of a banner appearance. Now, what I've got is a gap where they're red, and it's not quite a red, it's like a combination between a red and a pink and a teal sort of colour. It's very tricky, and the colour of the pattern paper just didn't work for me. So I pulled out a watercolour sheet of paper. So this is not ordinary paper. This is actual sort of textured watercolor paper. And the reason I chose that is because I wanted the color to actually sink into that paper. So I needed to actually use the watercolor and combine them to actually match the color that I wanted in that background. So you can see I sort of start with a little bit of a like a lighter sort of pink colour, and then I go over it with a more of a maroony kind of colour. And all I'm doing on the watercolour paper is just looking at the colours, how they sit and how they blend, until I'm quite happy with the way they come together and they match the central cluster that I've got going on my layout. So it's basically just a matter of sort of combining the colours until I'm happy. Now, the reddy coloured one at the top, I splattered with the white, and I can't say that I'm a huge fan of that white splatter. I put it on there because a lot of the other pattern papers had some kind of addition of like either splatters, or they were wood grain, or they had texture. So I tried to go along with that sort of background. I don't particularly love it, but it does sort of fade as the watercolor dries, so it's not a huge problem for me. Now, I've chosen some photos while I wait for my watercolour to dry, and I'm just going to stick these banners down that I already have on my layout, just so I sort of know where things are going. And I want to tell you a little story about this particular photo. So I've titled my layout Shenanigans, which was tricky to spell because it's a word that I know, but it's not one that I use very often. On this particular race day, it was quite a cold August day, and the race track that we went to didn't have any tables out in the sunshine. So it was a sunny day, but being August, it was windy and cold. So I decided that I was simply going to move my own table out into the sunshine so that we could happily sit in the sun and enjoy our race day. So my girlfriend who was with me, she snapped a photo of me moving the table, which is just hilarious. So I thought I'd pop this on a race day layout and title it Shenanigans. So while I have been telling you the story of this photo, I've added a little bit of a gold and a sparkly touch to those flowers. I just find that this is such a simple way to actually just add interest and break up those florals and add just that little bit of something. My watercolors have now dried, and I'm going to go ahead and trim those into banners as well. And I really like that these just perfectly match the colors now. So you can see as I pop them into that background, they don't look like they're any different to what comes with the collection. They just blend seamlessly, and you get that really nice sort of rainbow down the page. Just to help highlight my photos, and being that my photos feature a very strong black and white theme, I decided just to mount them on some black cardstock. I've got a beautiful rainbow happening in my background, but I just needed to elevate those photos a touch more. So I'm going to mount them onto some black and white patterned paper, and I'm going to just overlap them on an angle so they're not going to be straight. They're just sitting there quite happily. Little doily behind them. I think doilies are great. They add that little bit of textural interest and help to separate, again, a photo from a background. So just to break it up a little bit and make sure that it's not getting lost in a busy background. Now a little bit of cardboard as well, which just again helps to elevate it. It gives it that little bit of texture, brings it up off the background. I have put some white splatters in the background also, so I'm going to wait as all of that dries. I also like to, for the longevity of my layouts, just add a little bit of tacky glue, because adhesive is great, but long term, for some reason, I just find that adhesive doesn't seem to last, whether it's the climate that I live in, the humidity, or, the quality of adhesive I'm using, I'm not sure, but tacky glue for important stuff just sort of seems to seal it all and lock it in place. I had actually forgotten to put adhesive behind those extra colours that I'd added in the banners. I had to go back and add some adhesive. I have curled the little banners up as well. So again, just a little bit of textural interest and making a little bit of a messy sort of layout going on here. I'm going to add some of the little puffy hearts, again matching the colours of the rainbow that I'm using in that background. And out comes the ruler again, because I'm working on a central cluster. So, of course, I'm trying to centralize my title. I had to actually write down the word Shenanigans, because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to spell it off the top of my head, and I needed to know what letter was actually in the center so I could make that letter centralized. I also like to put a little bit of tacky glue onto my alphas as well. Again, just finding that looking through albums, the adhesive hasn't stuck, and you'll pull a layout out and it might have all the title letters have fallen off and they're sitting in the bottom of the plastic pocket in the album. So a little bit of tacky glue just helps the longevity of those. All right, once I have finished my title, I'm very close to being done. I'm going to pop on a little journaling, which again is not telling the actual story of this layout, but just recording the date and time. I think that the title sort of helps me to focus on the actual history of this layout. So I am officially done. I'm going to show you a couple of close-ups and then this layout is complete. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please, if you haven't already, hit subscribe and make sure that you are a follower of Kitaholic Kits.